Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bold Explorer, and I'm sitting in some woodland. Very exciting today because I'm not alone. I am today joined by Sonya Dibbin. Hello, Sonya.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Now, you are a special person because you are a forest guide therapist.
I'm a forest therapy guide.
Yeah, I knew I'd get that wrong. So there we go.
Yes.
A forest therapy guide.
Yes.
So that sounds very interesting and exciting. What the hell is a forest therapy guide? Oh, I should say that, by the way, we're sitting in this delightful wood at Queen Elizabeth Park, which is just south of Petersfield in Hampshire.
Yep, just on the Hampshire border, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, go on, guide.
Right, so what is a forest therapy guide?
Yeah.
So, it's probably easier if I start by saying what it isn't.
Right.
So sometimes the practice is called forest bathing. It's kind of known as that as well. And most people think that might involve swimming in the woods.
Well, I thought it was taking your clothes off and rubbing yourself down with twigs.
There you go, yeah. Other people think, well, forest bathing, that sounds like something I do when I go on my daily walk with the dog, or, like
right.
enjoying
bathing
being
in the
forest.
atmosphere of a forest.
Yes.
Right.
What it is it's really very immerseful. So what you're doing is you're immersing your senses in the atmosphere of the forest. So we don't walk fast at all, we don't cover much ground. So other than the short walk into wherever the location that we work in, we'll then not move around a great deal, and certainly not at any great speed.
Right.
So you don't burn up calories or anything like that.
So this isn't an exercise of physicality of climbing hills.
Exactly, yeah, it's not. It's very slow, very mindful, very relaxing. So the whole point of it is this deep state or the state of deep relaxation.
Right.
When you get to that, you're able to kind of let your guard down a little bit and just be a bit more open to processing blocked emotions, perhaps, that otherwise are kind of, locked away somewhere because,
right.
we don't want to go there. But when you've been in this state of deep relaxation for a long time, none of that matters, and you're able to kind of work through some of that stuff and achieve clarity of mind. So what I do on a session is I guide a series of invitations, as we call them, mindful exercises. And it allows people to slow down, to get out of all of this, the ruminating thoughts, to move more into their bodies, get in touch with their feelings, sensations, using our senses, as I say, and achieve clarity of mind, because you get this space in your head that's normally full of all of this clutter. It's a bit like a decluttering process, in all honesty. You know, that's very sort of popular at the moment, isn't it? And that's what I'm kind of helping people do, but in their own minds.
Right. So when you say relaxation, you're not sort of lying on the ground and flopping into.
Well.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Never say never. So what will happen on a typical session, let's say, which is about 3 hours in length. The first half hour or so will be a guided meditation, and for that we're standing generally, but often with your eyes closed.
Right.
So when you turn off your sense of sight, your other senses are heightened and they're able to come forward, whereas because sight is our dominant sense, it kind of blocks everything else.
Yes.
So we'll have a very long guided meditation, which is just, it brings you down a notch. On the relaxation. Where you want to get to is here, where we start with all the stress and the rumination is here. So we're now down to here. And then we'll do a very, very slow walk. And I mean the walk that we cover a length or a distance that you could walk in about a minute, and we take about 20-25 minutes.
It's a shame about the is it the A3 that we have running close by? This is the sound of the traffic, of course. However, so Sonya, tell me, this is not something that you just sort of dreamt up one afternoon.
No.
Where does this come from?
Okay, so about 40 years ago in Japan, they were suffering with like a stress pandemic, basically, because I don't know if you know much about the Japanese culture, but you get a lot of pride and sense of worth in your work.
Right.
And so many people were quite literally working themselves to death through working such long hours, stress, etc. So their equivalent of the NHS sort of put this into mainstream, and so they've got forest medicine centres, forests dedicated purely to the practice of forest bathing, forest therapy. And they started collecting data, so that was about 40 years ago. It's called Shinrin-yoku out there.
It's called?
Shinrin-yoku.
Who knew?
Which translates to bathing your senses in the atmosphere of the forest, hence the bathing.
Right.
And so because they started collecting the data, we've got now 40 years worth of data, and it was basically saved many of their population from these very high levels of stress that they had.
Lovely beech trees all around this lovely bit of parkland here, and it strikes me that this is absolutely fascinating, but of course there's going to be a few skeptics out there who will say, okay, Sonya, what's the benefit to all of this?
What's in this for me?
Yeah.
Why would I do this as opposed to going for a walk? Right?
Yeah, that's right, because people could just go for a walk and say, well, I'm doing the same.
Yeah, and it's widely understood now that there are many benefits to being outdoors, so I'm not claiming that some of those are purely because of forest therapy. So obviously when you're outdoors, you have a lower heart rate, you're breathing in these good phytoncides, so particularly oaks and conifers, and we have a lot of those, they are emitting an essential oil called phytoncides.
Oh, right.
And they use it as part of their defence mechanism. We're breathing it in now, although we don't notice, and that is proven to have very good physical health benefits, so it increases the count of cells that fight baddies, basically. So of course that, you're going to get those benefits from just doing a hike through woodlands, right?
Yeah.
But what you're also getting when you do forest bathing, forest therapy, or mindfulness in nature, which I call it, as well, is because of this deep relaxation that you reach, and you spend that time really slowing down and absorbing the atmosphere. You're lowering your stress. So proven again, your cortisol production is dropping right down. And if you spend 2 hours fully immersed, so this is the scientific evidence is based on a 2-hour session, mine are 3 actually, so you get more bang for your buck. That lowered cortisol production, the hormone that causes stress, continues for days and sometimes weeks afterwards, right? So if you did a hike, that you're going to get all of those benefits, but they're kind of a one-hit wonder.
Yes.
With this very slow, immersive process of forest bathing, the benefits go on for considerable amount of time, actually.
So is it a regular thing that you would do, like going to a gym, or would you sort of once a week, once a month, or that sort of thing?
Exactly. So you can do it once, but I liken it a bit like learning to play piano or to surf,
Right.
You can have a go once, you might get on okay with it, you probably do better if you did it again. And so what I say is, ideally you want to try to do this once a month. And if you think about that, that's a morning once a month. So 12 mornings over the course of a year. It's not a lot, right? But you will get an incredible amount of benefits from that. In addition to the stress, it lowers your anxiety, it can boost your mood, so depression. Again, a lot of this is associated with being outdoors anyway. Also, it's very good for ADHD, so children who suffer with, focus, concentration issues, very, very good for that. And it gives you a good night's sleep.
Oh, wow. Gosh, so obviously you do this for a living, and now that we know all about it, we should give you a plug. And I'll put the details of how to contact you, your website or your Facebook page, whatever, in the description. So people can get in touch, especially if they're in the Hampshire, because where are you based? Yeah,
so I'm in Winchester, so I work in various locations across Hampshire and also in Newbury in Berkshire. Brilliant. So I'm going for it. So it's adoreyouroutdoors.co.uk. That's my website, and my Facebook is also Adore Your Outdoors.
It'll be in the description as well. So there we are. That's given you a taste of forest bathing. If you've done it, if you've tried it, love to know. Put a thing in a comment in the comments box. Tell us what your experience is. Even if you're a bit sceptical about it, that'd be interesting too. Make them nice and clean, obviously. And thank you so much for introducing me to forest bathing.
Right.
And, you know,
You're welcome.
Unfortunately, I haven't had to strip off and rub sticks in my body, but you know,
There's
always another day. But thank you so much, Sonya, for telling us about that.
No problem. You're welcome.
Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, become a patron, support what I do, give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, leave a comment, as I said, and I'll be out and about somewhere doing something, either on my own or with someone. Until next time, bye-bye.